Hey guys, it's Auntie Jen here. So we're doing something a little different today for Auntie Jen's 2 cents, and I will show you why. So we've had this huge snowstorm come through St. Louis. It's known as the Snowpocalypse or Snowmageddon, whatever you want to call it. So we're pretty snowed in here, but I wanted to show you what it looked like. This is currently the view from my backyard. We've had about 9+ inches of snow come through. This is my back porch. But yeah, it's covered everywhere. So you're probably asking why I'm taking the time to show you that. Well, this episode is called Don't Throw Those Newspapers Away, and I'll explain why. So yeah, as I stated, we had this huge snowstorm come through St. Louis, and it was to the point of crippling. It came down so hard, so fast, in such a short time that all the highways ended up getting jammed up, and 2 highways in particular were basically shut down, and people were stranded for hours on these highways. My mom included. It was on Highway 44. She was stranded for about 8 hours. She was on the road for a total of 15 hours that day just trying to get home. But there was accidents and they couldn't get the roads cleared fast enough. So yeah, this was a huge deal. So it made the news. There was a lot going on. There were so many news stories talking about the highways being shut down because this was a major thing that I'll share a couple of links below of some of the articles that included some pictures. I'll include some of those photos at the end of this video just so you can see what I'm talking about. But this is a huge deal that happened here in St. Louis that it's crippled the city temporarily. And my husband made a statement that really just resonated with me that I didn't even think about, but it's something we all really need to consider. He said, I wonder if it's going to be on the front page of the newspaper. And I thought, one thing we need to make sure that we do is save newspapers. Now, I don't know about your parents, but my parents, they get a newspaper still every day, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, because Dad still likes to read an actual newspaper. Well, think of all of the research that we've done where newspapers have played such a big part in us trying to find out more about our ancestors. We should be taking time to save newspapers from huge events that are happening in our time, and one of them being the snowpocalypse that came through and the fact that the highways were shut down, because that directly affected my family. My mom was stranded. So now something to start thinking about is when something big happens, save those newspapers. Save the front page of the newspaper, clip it out, whatever you need to do. Save it for future generations to put with all of your timeline and your life. So hopefully it'll make it easier down the line, so when your descendants look at your life and your timeline, you have newspapers to back up this information and historical events. And this goes for so many things. One of the things was the flood of 1993 that came through St. Louis. That was a huge deal in St. Louis, and it was during my time. And my parents have newspaper clippings from that time. And as a kid, you don't think about any of that. You're like, what are you saving all of this for? Well, I'm glad they did, because it was huge. It was huge for our time. So the next time you guys get something going on big in your life, go and buy the local newspaper for that day and save it, clip it, put it away, so you got something to pass down. And that's my 2 cents. Stay safe out there, everybody.